This report from the Wall Street Journal revealing how top aides tried to keep the show running for years while trying to hide the apparent mental decline of a, quote, diminished Biden. And despite the White House holding a nearly 40-minute briefing yesterday, they still have yet to address it. Here to discuss, Wall Street Journal editorial page assistant editor and Fox News contributor James Freeman. James, good morning. Part of this spectacular story, a blockbuster story, that cites 50 people familiar. It says, if the president was having an off day, meetings could be scrapped altogether. On one such occasion in the spring of 2021, a national security advisor explained to another aide why a meeting needed to be rescheduled. He has good days and bad days, and today was a bad day, so we're going to address this tomorrow, the former aide recalled the official saying. So, James, what's worse here, the cover-up or the crime? The fact that the president and his family apparently let him go on, according to this story, diminished for years, making life or death decisions, or the fact that unelected political staffers tried to cover it up for years.
Yeah, I would have to say the crime, but kudos to my colleagues on the news side of the Journal, really putting together the details on, as you point out, how early this was happening. Really, essentially a fraud on the public. As far as the cover-up, as you well know, the president's press secretary, when you would ask about this, at one point she asked you about going down a rabbit hole as if it was indulging some bizarre conspiracy theory to ask about his mental fitness. But I think the crime is worse, because what we're talking about is a foundational problem. We hold elections, we elect a president. That person is vested with all of the executive authority in our government. And this story is essentially confirming what many have suspected for a long time, which is someone other than the president seems to be in charge.
And James, to your point, yesterday at the White House press briefing, 0 questions about this story, but about 20 on the spending bill that ultimately has nothing to do with President Biden, at least not at that point. But you mentioned it. It has come up at a briefing earlier this year. Listen here.
How is President Biden ever going to convince the 3/4 of voters who are worried about his physical and mental health that he is okay, even though in Las Vegas he told a story about recently talking to a French president who died in 1996?
I'm not even going to go down that rabbit hole with you, sir.
What is
We're
the
going to
rabbit hole?
Go ahead.
He said he talked to Mitterrand.
Go ahead. You saw the president in Vegas, in California. You've seen the president in South Carolina. You saw him in Michigan. I'll just leave it there.
Well, not a rabbit hole anymore, James, but just to play devil's advocate here, if you're a staffer, a White House staffer, and you say something about you think the president is slipping, and you're wrong, he just has a cold, then you're out of a job. If you say something and you're right, then you're out of a job. So can you really blame the staff?
I think we can and we should. This is you might wonder, I think a lot of people would wonder, how does the White House staff keep this big a secret for so long? How do they maintain this code of silence? And I think the answer is that they viewed it in their interest to keep him and themselves in power. But I don't think they get a pass at all. This is not only it's foundational, but you can't help the offense against the voters of this country, the people of this country. But it was also highly dangerous, and you can't help but going back to so many events of this presidency and wondering, would they have turned out differently? You go back to that press conference a few weeks before Putin invaded Russia, the president suggesting that a minor incursion might be tolerable. Was that because he didn't have his fastball at that moment? If he had given a strong, resolute statement, is it possible Putin would have blinked and not invaded? I mean, 2022 on the economic side, the Federal Reserve realizes they've made an enormous mistake, allowed inflation to get out of control, and they start to respond. The White House does nothing. They continue seeking the spending increases. Would that have gone differently with a president at full mental capacity, able to understand the problem he had created? It's it's appalling. It's an outrage. And
Well-
I don't think anyone on the White House staff should get any kind of pass.
And if it was all a big cover-up, they are less than a month away from getting away with it. Thank you, James Freeman.
Thanks, Peter.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.